Before we get started with today's visit tours, I would like to take a moment out. I want to thank you and each and every one of our loyal customer because we know that you appreciate all the hard work and dedication that we put into this trip and how they will continue to be helpful to you. Okay, we're going to start our conversation today. We're going to talk about our Mother Earth, our Mother Nature. What do you mean when we say that? When we talk about Mother Earth or Mother Nature?
Mother Earth, I believe it's just this. I think we turn the Earth into a person and we talk about her as if she has power and can do things that are nearly beyond our control. Well, they are beyond our control and it's frequently more than we can grasp. For example, the Earth may create extremely violent weather systems such as tornadoes or hurricanes, as well as torrential rain that can cause landslide and other problems. It can also have impact on weather patterns such as droughts or flooding.
Right.
And a lot of these other things have happened in the past years. Then there are natural disasters such as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions.
Right. So this is what we mean when we're talking about Mother Earth and her powers. Those are like the forces of nature that happen. Please follow me to this museum. Its name is the Pacific Museum of Earth.
Wow, so beautiful.
Yeah, and often you hear people talk about how Mother Earth is setting things back to how they should be. And it's really talking about how human civilization and the things that we build can withstand the power of these natural events. And I think that, I don't know, it's really hard to explain how we are people. We build houses and city in certain Mother Earth can just come along and do something and
Destroy them, or just affect peaceful life in what it seemed like an instant.
so there are a few things to consider. Let's begin by discussing some of the floods and then some of the dry period. And then we can discuss how British Columbia, Canada was affected by this early this spring. So they experienced terrible floods where we used to reside in Kalawar, BC.
Look at the illustration, it's just terrible.
They were.
What happened?
Well, what happens were in the winter time they had a lot of snow and it developed a snowpack, they call it.
Is it like a base of snow?
Yeah, as the weather warmed up and the snowpack began to melt, but even more so, they had a more than normal amount of rain. A higher than average amount of rain is double the amount of water in that area, which caused flooding.
Where is this place?
This is Okanagan Lake.
Wow, it's so large.
Definitely, it's more than 100 kilometers long and I don't know how many feet is worth above the maximum capacity, but I think maybe 8 feet or 2 meters or something like that. And anybody on the lake has sandbags and they were trying to keep the water out of their houses. And then immediately after the rain stopped, everyone was happy about that, except the rain didn't start again.
What? What does it mean?
It gets really, really dry and during the summer it's always forest fire seasons.
Oh dear, that's so bad.
The air quality was also poor, the smoke was so heavy that it was blinding the sun, and the forest fire had impacted dozens of settlements. It's insane since there hasn't been any rain in 2 or 3 months, and the trees are easily burnt.
Poor forest. How about this place?
This is Mexico City. What was truly horrifically coincidental was that the second earthquake to strike Mexico City occurs on the same day as an earthquake that devastated the city 32 years before in 1985, and then came to the earthquake in the 1985 which killed 10,000 people and was terribly damaging.
Look, some of these buildings just crumbled too.
And here is a picture of a hurricane. I think that the fastest recorded wind speed were from the Hurricane Irma. And what was really interesting about this hurricane, I mean horrible for those who were affected by it, don't get me wrong. But what's interesting as the weather phenomenon and how powerful and quickly this sort of thing can develop is that they have this. I can't remember the exact criteria of how they did to mean this sort of things, but they have a certain number of kilometers per hour that it would have been this increase within 24 hours by the amount of kilometer per hour. It is considered a very, very fast developing hurricane. So it went from a tropical storm to a hurricane in less than 2 days. These poor people on the island had just been through a devastating storm. 90% to 95% of the buildings on these islands were destroyed. Nobody could possibly live there, so that neighborhood has been devastated.
That's terrible. But anyway, it's really interesting to look at the wind. I mean, what about the things flying around in the air? They can be like weapons. You know, a street sign can break off and fly through the air and hit you or kill someone. Or even tornadoes. Tornadoes can pick up houses or cars, and those things go flying through the air, and who knows what is going to hit, right? Exactly. Like the car could fly through the air and land on a house with people in it. Like a scary, scary situation.
Is it a forest fire?
I think it is.
Yes, forest fires can also grow uncontrollable. A large forest fire occurred in Alberta, Canada, a few years ago. All of the elements came together perfectly at the same time. The fire had begun, the wind was fierce, and it soon spread. And this tower was on the other side of the forest fire, and it was completely destroyed.
How long does it take to put out a fire?
For months. Yes, I think it's impressive how powerful Mother Nature is and how we have to continue to have respect for our planet and how it will develop and take care of climate change so that we don't have this strong superstorm and maybe can reduce the drought and the floods. That sort of thing by taking care of it. Yeah, do your part to take care of her.
You kill the environment will harm you more.